And
Yeah.
before we jump into the ice cream,
Yep.
how do ideas usually come to you? Because I'm always interested to hear from like entrepreneurs such as yourself or other successful business
Mhm.
persons. Like how do like are you just like laying down and you're just like looking up at the sky, doing whatever leisurely you like to do,
Yeah.
drinking a matcha or a tea, whatever you're into, and like, oh, I have this great idea. Let me write it on a napkin.
Yeah.
Like, how does it come to you usually?
The ideas come from everywhere. If I'm listening to a song, if I'm traveling or I'm eating somewhere, I'm visiting experience or talking to friends of a conversation, I think, it comes from sometimes it comes from happiness, sometimes ideas come from pain, sometimes they come from survival mode. I just take all the energy from each part of it and sometimes spark something insane. Sometimes the ideas are dumb, but as long as the ideas are flowing, that's when, you feel alive. I feel the most alive.
And when can you tell that an idea is worth pursuing? Worth not just
Yeah.
the ideation and the conversations, but like, let me put real dollars behind this now to see where this can go.
If I can't sleep at night and I keep thinking about it and I'm not putting the idea to paper, that's when I know I have to pursue it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I feel like if it's within reach, like I have whether I have a location ready to go or I have a contact that I can reach out to make things happen. I think if those things were within reach, then you could see my ideas flowing and me pushing harder for it to make it happen.
Got it. And just a quick little lightning right now. What's an idea that you had that you were like, this is for sure gonna work, and it didn't do as well as you thought it would? And what's an idea where you,
Yeah,
not that you ever think any of your ideas are garbage or anything
yeah,
like that, but ones you're like, I don't know, but I'm gonna try it anyway. But
yeah.
I actually did as well as it could, as it did, and you were really surprised by its performance.
In Orange County, there's one for low and high, right? So one the low that didn't work that I thought was the surefire one. I had this burger concept before Trill Burgers, and I was already doing a variation of smash burger already before it got big, and I was offering the price point at like near In and Out prices, and it did, and I thought it was gonna be. I was like, this is genius. It's gonna work, right? And it fell flat on its face.
Why do you
I
think
didn't
it?
think the area wasn't ready for it, right? They didn't get it.
You were too ahead of its time.
Yeah, I
You were
was
too
way
ahead.
too. I was like, they don't get it. This is, and now I just messed up the entire business.
And what was the other? What was the low that went high?
Low that went high. So I went on we had this donut concept that was terrible already, and I went off for a trip. I came back and my partners added poke on the menu, and I was like, we're selling poke and donuts. This is crazy. I was pissed. I was like, what are you guys doing? And I was like, fine, if we're gonna do poke, we're gonna X the donuts and we're gonna do things my way, right? I was like, I don't want to do poke, but if I have to do it, I'm gonna do something. So I came up with this sushi donut idea just off of looking around.
Sushi donut.
Yeah, so it looks like it's just like
Oh,
really, really eye catching, camera friendly, and we put that thing out. And man, when you talk about things that go viral, that thing went insane. I did videos dropped 2 weeks, got 78 million views. I got people banging on the door at like 7 in the morning trying to eat sushi at 7 in the morning, right? You know how crazy that
they
sounds?
feel like they're in Japan right now
Yeah.
at the fish market. Like, you know what
So
I mean?
that's what happened with that, and that blew up, and that was pretty crazy to watch at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And following on that, how important has intuition been in your decision making?
I think
Like
it's
just
everything.
trusting your like you're like, I can't explain. You know when
Yeah.
you're like, I can't explain it, but I gotta trust my gut on this one. How important has that
I,
feeling been in your decision making?
I think it's everything. It's for sure it's everything. Following your gut instinct is important because you're following your, I guess, my true calling on what decisions I make are the right and wrong decisions. I recently went through a similar issue where I had a fallout and I exited a project,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because I followed my gut intuition. And I think it's 4 years later, and they called me back needing help. And this is a project I said I do not want anything to do with, and they called me back needing help, and I was like, "That's it, guys. I'm glad I followed the gut because everything that I said was gonna go wrong, it all went wrong, and now they're knocking on my door begging me."
Did you express what you thought it was gonna go wrong, or was it just
Yeah, I let them know from day one, and that's why they're calling because they're like, "Damn, he was right."
Do you think entrepreneurs are born or built? Or do you think it's like a little
I
combination
think
of
a
both?
combination, right? Yeah, you got to, and I think entrepreneurs, you gotta go through it. I think you gotta feel what rock bottom feels like to really appreciate the little nuances of what works.
And what was rock bottom for you in your entrepreneur? And then we'll go back into the after's ice cream. But like, I feel like we have to like, what does rock bottom looked like to you?
I think I've had a multiple rock bottom moments
Okay,
throughout
yeah.
the career, but I think I can talk during the clothing phase. I was really unhappy like I talked about earlier, the stores were dictating with the way to design. I think our sales were dipping. We weren't doing things right anymore. I just felt like the brand wasn't mine anymore. And at that time, we brought in a business life coach,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of gave me some advice on pretty much learning why I did things in the first place, right? Like really going back to my roots, and once I felt like that, I was like, okay. I just remember walking into the design room, pretty much ripping the whole design wall and going, we're starting from scratch.
Wow. And what was a question I have for you? Because I think your first business owner was one of your friends that you mentioned, right?
Mhm.
Somebody who you're still close to this day.
Still my best friend, yeah.
How is it important? Because I've heard from business people, you don't have to like the person that you're in business with to make money.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's a better ride when it's your best friend, right? But like, how have you managed that relationship? Because I'm sure contentious. There's been some contentious moments between you and your best friend.
Mhm.
Maybe things flare up. There's tension in the room. But how do you manage the sort of like putting aside that he's your friend and putting in the forefront that we're business partners and we have to talk about the business here?
Yeah. So over the years, I've had business partners who were friends, and some are still my best friends to this day, and some I could never sit in the same room with ever again. But speaking from my first business partner till now, that's my best friend, right? And we're still business partners till this day. I think for us is understanding how we fill each other's gaps. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't like to be in front of the scenes. He hates it, right? So you can't even find him. We call him the unicorn. You can't
My
find the
best
guy.
friend's the same way.
Yeah,
I was just talking to him earlier today. He's like he likes to be a ghost.
yeah,
Like he's like I don't want to be found on social media.
yep. He's
Uh,
and he's fine with that. He doesn't want to dig into any of that stuff. He's like, you go do, you're good at this part. You focus on this. He likes to be behind the scenes. I don't like dealing with certain things like legal and numbers and all that. I was like, hey, you go handle.
that's
You're
me.
better at that. You like that stuff. You go take care of that.
That's me.
Yep.
But so you mentioned, but some people were your friends, and now you
Mhm.
can't sit in the same room as them, right? Not getting into specifics, just general concepts
Right.
and some questions that I have.
Mhm.
Do you think it's because you're in these businesses, right? And I'm going to assume that all these people are self-made, and when you start throwing money
Mhm.
into the equation and dollars that they've never in amounts they've never seen before, do you think that changes the way they pursue the partnership, or like what's been some of the major downfalls that you've experienced in these partnerships? Has it been solely because of money, or
Well,
is it truly because there's just differences in ideation?
I think it's money money for people that never, like you said, have never seen it.
Yeah,
Was this first time seeing money? Then yeah, you see a lot of things like really come out, and you're like, okay, this is like this is not what we discussed in the beginning. It's shifting your mindset now from what our original vision was, and that usually kills a lot of it, right? The partnerships. I think ego's another thing.
yeah.
Obviously, I'm pretty front facing to a lot of this, so some people can't handle that.